I mean, seriously, that's their end goal. For fear of reprimand, they avoid trouble. I requested a refund. A major letdown indeed. Looking for a love story? What type of woman are we hoping to attract who is seeking love? Ellie is the one who should do it. It was shocking. In every respect, Disney ruined the plot. In the film, Rachel Zegler plays the role of Lord Farquaad, although they make her look younger. The new badass boss at Disney is Rachel Zegler. She exudes an air of unhappiness. Because of this, you might view her with the contempt of a spoilt brat. The movie's protagonist, Rachel Zegler, is universally despised by American conservatives. She shares the view of many TikTok-era youths that a passionate love affair is the panacea for all ills. It appears that her marital status has changed. In my opinion, she is childless. Watching the film was pointless. Another thing, have they ever considered conducting risk studies, resistance studies, or something comparable before they bring on a crazy Zoomer? It appears that they and the authors of Snow White share the view that women today do not desire to be in a romantic relationship. In a peculiar way, Rachel Zegler is acutely aware. Despite spending $170 million, 0 cents, on production, the film's opening weekend took in less than $50 million, 0 cents, a record low for any live-action Disney reboot. So the saying goes, go woke, get broke, and Disney will lose a pretty penny making this film. I would guess that its Chinese gross was just under $1 million. Although they have few common opinions, they do agree that Rachel Zegler's woke take on Snow White has the potential to be one of Disney's most disappointing efforts to date. The first warning sign was when news spread that Disney was considering shifting the focus of Snow White's story away from love. The rumor mill had it that they desired a powerful princess who could get by without a prince. It could make sense in theory. However, in practice, it meant omitting the classic's most endearing elements, such as its dwarfs, romance, and innocent charm. It is undeniable that 1937 was the year of publication for the first comic. A man who follows her love story gets a great deal of media attention. Yes, quite peculiar. Neither the prince nor her dreams of true love will come true. My goodness, ticket buyers started to question whether Zegler enjoyed the story she was being paid to tell all of a sudden. Going even farther, it did it. She called out an entire political faction in her previous social media posts, urging Trump supporters to never come back from the nation. She proceeded to publicly shame every American who cast a ballot for Trump. But it's completely unacceptable that you would advocate for harm coming to Trump supporters. Very well, Rachel Zegler. See, I'll show you the map again so you can keep track of when your Disney movie comes out and how many people you intend to harm. In this manner, here we are in the United States of America today. As much as I can, I will love you during these next 4 years. Dismiss Donald Trump. Yes, she could pose something completely safe. May Trump's administration face misfortune and may peace elude them. President Rachel Zegler also mimicked FT Trump's social media posts. Meanwhile, she expressed her hope that Trump supporters would never know peace. And they pushed back the release of this for a year, Ben, because their star Rachel Zegler was such a jerk. It was said that any Trump supporter could do it, but she succeeded. Only November had passed. No one anticipated that she would pull that stunt. A few of these endeavors lacked subtlety. A direct quote from her is, F Donald Trump, and she also swore at those who supported him. It was deemed insane by those who did not support Trump. Being the lead in a Disney family film can be a nightmare if the audience doesn't share your political beliefs. Criticism erupted in a torrent. After that, she got up and apologized. It wasn't genuine, but I may have gone too far. Had Zegler been truthful, or had she angered the millions of ticket buyers? Can you tell me what Joe Rogan and Bill Maher said? A rising trend in Hollywood, according to Rogan, is the abandonment of story and tradition in favor of political correctness. His show is famous for being candid and open about any topic. On a recent episode, he made the comment that the Disney version of Snow White demonstrated how corporations prioritize reaction over entertaining. The box office for the film is abysmal. Even though it cost $300 million, 0 cents to produce, it has only received a 2.2/10 rating on IMDb. Leftists are so predictable. No matter how progressive they are, they always manage to do something counter-progressive. A few musical numbers that prolong the film significantly are superfluous, and I must add that they are dreadful. A more contemporary feminist rendition of Someday My Prince Will Come replaced the original at Disney. It was terrible, and I saw the entire thing. From the perspective of race and sexuality to class and regime politics, it was utterly leftist. It was a poor story. That was terrible. According to popular belief, all you need to do to have your wish granted is to let it reverberate endlessly. This is so generic and terrible. The lack of coherence in the words is irrelevant. If you want your dream to come true, all you have to do is let it reverberate. I thought that was a metaphor. It was ironic that the prince was called a stalker and that dwarfs were exterminated in the name of progress, as pointed out by politically incorrect commenter Bill Maher. For Maher, this was the quintessential example of how woke society unintentionally overreacted and was insulting, particularly to little person artists who were passed over for major roles. These powerful women are now denying that. Have you ever dared to dream of meeting a charming prince, falling in love, and living the happily ever after? Being a prince rather than a princess should be your goal. Acquire a sword and engage in combat with the villains. Finally, there was the romance subplot, or more accurately, the complete absence of such a plot. Love triumphs over evil, according to the central theme of the timeless Snow White story. Zegler took great pride in her statement that she had no interest in reading about a woman's fantasies of marrying a prince. So, either no prince existed, or a prince of a different kind. Since we cast an excellent male actor, Andrew Burnap, in it, I believe many will mistakenly assume it is a love story. Any of Andrew's components could be removed. What the heck? Look, we're in Hollywood. Disney blew it by focusing too much on virtue signaling. Audiences go to the movies to be entertained, not educated, as both Rogan and Maher pointed out. Their argument was that Zegler's attacks on numerous individuals exacerbated the situation. Nobody would pay to watch the star perform if they thought she was rude to the people who might be interested in seeing her in a film. Your incessant chatter is going on. You seem insane even when you talk. In my opinion, this girl is unworthy of a feature film. I believe she would be better off in a secure prison. The decisions taken throughout production seemed doomed even before Zegler's demeanor was considered. The seven dwarfs are more complex than they first appear. Each one of them is unique, but together they form the core of the classic Snow White story. How far did the dwarves get? Nope, those were the CGI dwarfs. That takes us full circle to the initial argument when the great little person actor Peter Dinklage posed the question, "Why are you doing that?" For the role of Snow White, we cast a Latina woman. Quite forward-thinking. To play the part of the dwarfs, though, you intend to employ little people? Okay, let's add magical creatures. Disney immediately caved. They went completely bonkers after that, claiming that the dwarfs in Snow White weren't awake enough. All right? Disney could have given the dwarfs a facelift or replaced them with CGI magical creatures, but instead, they decided to do away with them altogether. Strange images of these creatures appeared online when leaks occurred. A few were on the shorter side, and the patterns were all over the place. Thereafter, they were unable to recruit any more dwarfs. Hi there, easily figuring out a non-advanced task. You could believe that hiring people is the pinnacle of progress. Like humans, dwarves prefer to work. Do we really need that many stories? No. There are in fact 7 of them, and 7 distinct professions open to dwarves in this area. Nonetheless, I think Peter Dinklage was the one who voiced the opinion that this is wrong. A lot of people thought they were unremarkable and looked like cheap extras from an old fantasy film, features of the dwarf that contributed to his endearment. Because it is so rare for dwarfs to have such a significant role, the people who play them were understandably irate. As little people, you're taking away jobs that people could have. Dwarfs are the ones involved in Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. These components were specifically designed for creative types like me. Since I am uninterested, I will not go out for parts starring Harrison Ford or George Clooney. I can't find it anymore. In my opinion, that is wrong. It goes without saying that Snow White's 7 dwarfs have vanished. They have reduced themselves to a quarrelsome group of 7 men. You can't have dwarfs if you're little. Can you recall the time when you were offensive while others were being offensive? It started off that way. Hi there, hi there. I was wondering if you had an image of the ideal dwarf. There it is. It was, however, a set. Who was it? The DI of small-scale individuals. Yes, gnomes created using computer-generated imagery had to be reshot for the film. It's done. So, they were unsuccessful. I am 6 feet 2 inches tall. People asked, what? All we want is to collaborate with spooky dwarfs. Who will it be? A woman, a transgender person using a wheelchair, or a person of color? I'm not sure. The same way that they do. Explain it to me. How come the dwarfs weren't sufficient? The most famous dwarf, Peter Dinklage, apparently thought they were too insulting in 2022 when he made a negative comment about them. Dwarf's most prominent acting roles since Willy Wonka's 1970s Oompa Loompas were ruined by this. Headlines claim the film cost more than $200 million, 0 cents, and that it was a surefire bomb within days of its release. Opening weekend earnings of $43 million, 0 cents, fell short of Disney's $150 million 0 cents target, especially considering that it was a remake of a successful classic film. That is a devastating defeat. Those who went to the movies and thought it was disrespectful to the original's fans walked out. Store shelves were bare of doll lines and themed merchandise, a clear sign that families were avoiding the stores. No amount of contempt for tradition or insulting half of your audience will get you far at the box office, according to the public's message. You must be kidding if you think Andrew's entire budget could be slashed. So, tell me, what are you? Does Disney count? Your book is fantastic. I've read it. You're disappointing an entire generation of viewers. So, what exactly is Snow White all about? Can you tell me the plot? This is a tale of love. Both the girl and the man experience the fulfillment of their dreams. I'm very disturbed that she accused him of being a stalker and that the central theme is anti-Met. Word got out as the return started rolling in that Disney was having problems. Executives reportedly were taken aback by the backlash to Zegler's political remarks, and rumor has it that the creative team attempted a course correction mid-production, leading to the alleged increase of millions of dollars in reshoot costs. They've been crazy about this girl for a few years now because they got her to tweet something like, "Yay, Snow White! I'm thrilled! I love playing her and I can't wait!" She was the one who did it, and it went viral. Some even went so far as to say, "Good job, Rachel," and "Never forget, Free Palestine," she added in the very next minute. Subsequently, they were compelled to engage a media specialist to continuously monitor her and ensure that she refrained from bringing up Snow White. However, Zegler's interview performance deteriorated with each one. She proclaimed to the media that the film was more significant than ever before and that she was pleased that the concept of a prince had been eliminated. The critics made fun of her, claiming that she was scolding the audience for preferring the previous version. Executives What are your recommendations? Should they just shut up and hope that Snow White bombs at the box office and does better on streaming? Would a sequel that reverts the changes be enough to salvage the franchise? Things appear unstable at the moment, and the once unbreakable brand loyalty of Disney appears to be in jeopardy. Animator. With a laugh, seeing her own film bomb in front of a practically vacant theater was the worst possible Hollywood experience for Rachel Zegler, and not even Discount Tuesday could rescue it. Zegler and a handful of courageous companions were left to observe the devastation firsthand after the woke Snow White remake not only bombed, but vanished. For an actress who was once touted as the next great thing in Hollywood, this was a sobering reminder of reality. The box office numbers have started ringing again, and it's obvious that nobody came. Seeing her film in theaters should have been a moment of pride for Rachel Zegler on March 25th, 2025, when she gathered some faithful friends, Ela Mason. Unfortunately, there was hardly anyone else in the theater when they arrived, making it appear more like a ghost town than a movie premiere. Her companion endeavored to heighten the excitement of the event. The screens displayed Rachel's name, and Ilda shouted, "Ziegler!" in response.